Yeah, so you probably saw that the Trump character is reported to be taking this right here. Now that to me means something completely different than what it probably shows you here. So I'm going to show you what I see. All right. You know, first you have the cover story. Here's the cover story. All right. Then I I always find interesting, you know, ways to look at the same thing. So I went to this railway station, which is known by the same, you know, initials as this, and just to see what connection you might see. And then just here it talks about, if you were to click on this story here, which also interestingly enough, it shows you the 12 code, or the reverse 21777 code. Anyways, this story goes into just the fact that train travel is being made to be pure drudgery, right? It's a complete mess. And what's interesting about this right here is, if you look, this is orange. You do know that that's the 33 idea, but then orange and white, and with black. And I had a snake stop right in front of me. This would just be about 2 days ago, when I was walking through part of the jungle here, and it was just right there. It wouldn't move. So what I did was I just took a stick and I moved it to where it started moving back into the bush, and it went back to, instead of going to where it was going, it went backwards, and it went back to the right. Anyways, interesting. It looked the same shades. So then you have the first part of the word. All right, we'll take it. And that's the first part of this word, hydro. Now, while I was talking with my buddy Larry during my toke break here just a few minutes ago, he reminded me of the snake, the hydro star sign, which is also interesting and something to look at, because it was a video I did quite a while ago about that, and that's something I might redo as well. You know, just show you the stuff down here, and then show you the stuff within the starlight. All right. So anyways, within this meeting, I'm going with the idea of watcher, or the idea of a new idea. All right. The idea of the watcher, the 6, a new cube, a new containment. The idea that with our Christ mind, we walk on this water. We can observe it, but we walk upon it. We walk on it. We don't walk in it. All right. So then the next part is the XY, which you know is the part of the male, or what is talking about a man. Okay. But then farther down, I want to show you this. That if you go down into Homong right here, it's the idea of combining this with the Chinese. So this goes back into the China virus hoax type idea, which is how all this stuff kind of just connects with. You see back here with the train, back here with the name, back with the initials. Okay, so continuing with that. So then you're through, we did the XY, chloro, so we'll get here. Now this is interesting also in a few ways. One, you have at the base, or at I shouldn't say base in that instance, I should say at the surface, you have the green. But then I want to look at the root or the base, and then that's going to be the chloro. All right, so the idea that it's going to be the green, yellowish, or the idea of the limelight. All right, the idea of the new light, the fallen light in this case. What I'm talking about now is this world, this character is announcing the crowning, the birth of this new world, and this in particular is speaking about the idea of the control of this new world, the architect of this world. All right. So then moving into the rest of the word, so then you have the quin part, and that's talking about a computer program that takes no input and produces a copy of its own source code as its own output. So it's a self-replicating idea. All right. So then if you have an AI idea that, when you look at 24-hour news, and I was just telling Larry this when we were having our toke break, if you take the idea of the 24-hour news, that cycle, when that cycle started, that also heralded in the idea of the computer pushing out 24/7 information, all connected together. That's why all these numbers are connected. That's why everything is all the names are used, because this is a computer program running, and these people, these hued men, these colored men, act out roles for the most part, money or currency or reputation or, a lifestyle, something within the life gives them back for that service. And a lot of it is done unwittingly. They actually do not look and say, wait a second, this does not seem right. This seems too good to be true. And that is because it's not true. It is in fact a lie system. All right, but it's the system that's pulled in front of your eyes. All right, so you have the row, the next part. An artificial language intended to be international that rejects all existing words and roots and is based on analysis and classification of ideas. That means that a new one world language that rejects all other words and roots, meaning that all other roots and words will be dismissed as garbage, garbage out, right? So this new artificial language gets rid of all that. All right, so then that's what people call newspeak, or there's a bunch of different ways to classify what this is talking about, but the result of this process is newspeak, or words that don't mean anything, alone, together, things like that. Just ideas that by saying them, your mind is split, because there's no rationality there. It's a confusion, but it's a row. All right. It's also the idea of row is the idea of think of a birth too, right? Like a seed. All right, because the seed upon birth, upon life, consumes, thus rejecting. Because once you consume something, you got to reject it. It goes out the old recto. You see that? So this new language consumes what we're using now, and out the recto it goes, and people are speaking newspeak. So this video in the future will seem to those hearing it mindless, and it will seem as if it's babble, right? So anyways, so the idea of the Big Blue, or the idea of IBM being founded in 1911, you see how that is. The idea of the Titan, all right? And, Titans are just another word of saying fallen lights or fallen spirits, or a third of the stars fallen or coming to Earth. The idea of that evil and submission to blue, Big Blue, the idea of law, taking the red man, the red atom man, out of the system. The love of oneself is then the new normal, and then those one selves become part of the Who Man world order. The WHO says, now what does the WHO say today? The Who Man says that you must do this, that, and this, or, X, Y, and Z, right? And people are in love with their one man themselves, that they will do anything that the Who Man tells them to do. All right, so anyways, be free in Christ. You were given the Comforter, and you're given the way out of this place. Right? You were given true love of your Father in heaven. And you can call Christ your friend. Cheers.